Hello and welcome to Gapeys Grow Room. If you caught my video last week, I mentioned that I would be doing a grow tent tour this week, and I'm going to be going over this AC Infinity tent that I've got behind me. This isn't my first grow tent. I actually upgraded from an Apollo tent that I had used for several years. I wasn't really happy with that tent for a few reasons, and I'll go over those with you, but you can't even buy that tent anymore. But I decided last year to upgrade to this AC Infinity tent, and I'm so much happier with this tent. It's got a lot of neat features that I'll go over, and I'll show you some of the equipment that I've got inside and give you a little update on how the peppers are doing. Before we take a look inside the tent, let's talk a little bit about the outside. So we've got this square here, and this is a little window. So it's secured by Velcro, and it has a Velcro strip on top that you can attach to the top of the window there, so that it has a really nice clear window into the tent. But to be honest, I do not use this because I like to keep the door open. So we've got a really nice, sturdy and easy to open zipper here. Now the front of the door on top has a Velcro strip here, and that can be secured onto the side, so that will keep the door open. So I like to keep the door open for a couple of reasons. One is because I'm in and out of this tent multiple times a day, checking on the peppers, making sure they don't need any water, picking off flowers, because I don't like to have fruits, flower, and form peppers on my plants until I go outside. So I'm in here a lot, and I don't want to have to keep opening and closing the door. I do have some fans and stuff in here that help with humidity, but the door open also gives a lot more airflow. And my main reason for upgrading my tent is the vent openings. This one has a lot more vent openings and a lot more different sizes. I can't remember what my old tent had. I don't think it even had a 4-inch vent hole, but this one has this 6-inch vent here on the left side. It's got another 6-inch on the right, and then it has 2 more 6 inches here on the bottom, one on the right there, and then we've got another one here on the left. And then we've also got a 4-inch vent on the back bottom there, and we've got another 4-inch right up here at the top back of the tent, and one more vent up here on the ceiling is an 8-inch. So I'm not using that 8-inch for anything, but most of the other ones are either being used for the ventilation or for just running cables in and out of the tent. Now also at the bottom of the tent, we've got 3 vent openings. So I don't have them open right now because we have plenty of venting going on in the front of the tent, but you've got that vent back there. You've got a vent in the back, and then also another one on the left. And I think my old tent only had vents on the left and right, if I remember right. Now let's take a look at the fans that I have set up in here. I have 3 different fans. The first one is this oscillating fan. This is the newest addition to the grow tent. This is an AC Infinity fan, just like the rest of the fans are that are in here. And I did purchase all of the AC Infinity equipment off of Amazon. And I'll put Amazon links to all of this equipment in case you're interested. But this is an oscillating fan, as I mentioned, and it is, let's see, it's got 2 cables coming out of it. One is a controller cable, and the other one is the power cable. And I'll go over the controller here in a minute. But that is that one. And then we've got an inline booster fan down here. And honestly, I don't have that running right now. It's really not needed since I've got the door wide open. And plus it's right up against the plants here, as you can see, so I could probably just take that out. But I have used that before in the past, but I'm just not using it right now. But this is a S4, I believe, brand, and they don't even carry that one anymore. The new one, I believe, is an S6. So this is a 4-inch fan, while the new one is a 6-inch. And the last fan we have up here is the AC Infinity T4, and that is a duct fan, because we've got some ducting attached to it, which we got from Lowe's, and that just goes out the other end of the tent, so it blows air from inside the tent outside. And what was cool about this one is it came with a smart controller. So I've got the power cable here coming out the left, and there's a controller cable coming out the right. And both of those fans are connected to this controller here. Let's see if we could get a good look at it. But this controls the temperature and humidity in the grow tent. Let's take a look at the cable. This is the sensor cable here. So this is what takes the temperature and humidity of the tent. And if it reaches too high or too low of a temperature, or too high or too low of humidity, it'll turn the fans on. And once it's in the ideal range, the fans will turn off. So you could see, maybe there's a little bit of a glare, but you can see there is a blinking high humidity thing here. That means that that's why the fans are going, is because the humidity is too high. And you can set the high, low temperature and humidity yourself so that it comes on at the ideal temperature and humidity. But right now it is at 57%, and I have it set to 58. So you might be able to tell the fans are just now turning off because the humidity is now at an ideal range. So you should see this duct fan has already turned off, and this oscillating fan should be turning off momentarily as well. Oh, and it just stopped. So I thought that was a pretty cool feature. The only other piece of equipment we have in here is my Mars Hydro TSL2000. I've been using this light for several years, and this light did get given to me by Mars Hydro for a review, and you can see that review. I'll post a link to that in the description of the video, but it's been a few years since I did that, and I've really been enjoying this light. It's not the most pretty light. I don't really like this fixture. But it does the job. It's got a dimmer switch here, and I usually have it set to about 70 to 75% power. And I'll have to double check and see what the height is of the light, but it seems to be working really well. Another thing I forgot to mention, the fan is off right now, but depending on how hot or how high the humidity is, the fan has different speeds, and if it's really hot or really high, the fan will run at a higher power. So usually when it's just off by 1 or 2 degrees or 1 or 2%, the fan will be in a low speed. So right now it's at 0% because it is off right now. Since the grow tent is 2 by 4 feet, that is just enough space for 4 of my 10-20 trays of peppers. And that's pretty much all I put in the grow tent every year is the peppers. And I like to do that once I pot them up into these large 3.5-inch containers. So they've been in here for probably 3 or 4 weeks now, and they'll be staying here until I take them outside, which will be in another probably 2 weeks or so. We're just waiting for the temperature outside to warm up a bit. It's still getting down into the 30s at night, which is a little too cold for the peppers. But I do want to get these acclimated to the sun and outdoor temperatures here before too long. These are moved in here mainly because they get so tall. And especially with these taller containers, they don't really fit under my grow shelves anymore. So the grow tent works perfectly for all of my peppers. All right, let's talk about the equipment and how much it costs. So the Mars Hydro TSL2000, that is the most expensive piece. That one was given to me by Mars Hydro several years ago, and I've been using it ever since. But if you want to purchase that, I always tell people to check both Amazon and the Mars Hydro site, because sometimes it's cheaper on one at one time and then check again and it might be cheaper on the other site. So if you do purchase it from the Mars Hydro site, you can get 3% off using my code Gapeys Grub, but just check both places. Right now it's $239 on their website and $249 on Amazon. So you do get a better deal from getting it from their website. And they have lots of other lights on their site as well, so you might want to check those out to see what else they have. But my coupon code works on any of their lights off of their website. Now let's talk about the AC Infinity equipment. Unfortunately, I don't have any discount codes for you because I did purchase all of the equipment through Amazon, but I will leave links to all of the equipment in the description of the video. And if you do use those links, I will get a little bit of a kickback from Amazon, so it would be much appreciated. The tent itself is $129, and they have various different sizes of tents. So if you want something bigger or smaller, you can check out what they have. Now for the fans, I've got 3 different fans in the grow tent. The first one is the oscillating fan. So that is a clip-on fan that you can use pretty much anywhere, and that was $50. And then we've got the S4 inline fan at the bottom of the tent that I'm not really using right now, but that one is not available on Amazon, and I'm not sure if it's going to be coming back or not, but they do have the S6 version, which is a little bit bigger than mine. It's the 6-inch version. So that one right now is available for $35, which is a really good price. And then the larger T4 duct fan that I have at the top of the tent, that one is currently $119, but it does come with the smart controller that I showed you, which is, I think, a really good deal as well. So that is everything in the grow tent. If you have any questions about my setup, let me know down below. And if you have any suggestions for things I can do to improve my setup, let me know as well. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you again soon. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. You can also find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.